Michael, why did you decide to make this movie?
I became fascinated with the cutting edge contemporary world that we're living in right now, or our kind of conditions or circumstances, and so when I started getting into the whole cyber reality and what is that condition, what are those circumstances. I spent some time in Washington, and the degree of interconnectedness, we swim in an ocean of data and interconnectedness. Is almost like to talk about this subject. It's it's like a fish talking about water. You can talk about the condition of it, but it is the medium through which your life occurs, and it's changed all of our lives. It's not going backwards. It's like how the printing press changed life in Europe in the next 100 years. Well, it's a lot faster now, but that's how the computer revolution, in particular the ubiquitous degree of interconnectivity in the cyber revolution, has affected us. So then and the culture. So then, who are these people? What is a Blackhat hacker? What is who is he? What is he? Walk like, talk like, whatever. And I started doing research in Washington, and the degree of vulnerability, of how porous everything is, the amount of cyber intrusions, their seriousness, was new news to me. And that's when I said, I've got to. So anyway, that was the origin.
Chris Hemsworth, why did you think of him?
Because Ron Howard showed me 45 minutes of Rush, and I was really knocked out by what he was doing. And I thought I had seen Thor, and I was surprised because Kenneth Branagh was directing it, which was good news, and Chris is really taking it seriously in a, like what kind of. By the way, Guardians of the Galaxy does the same thing. It takes itself seriously, which is very, very smart, and that's why it's so good. And it's most people's favorite film this year. And then I saw Rush. So this guy's really an actor. I mean, he's not. This isn't a male model. This isn't. He's a real serious dude. And so then we met, and natively, Chris has a directness and an unself-consciousness. There's not a pretentious bone in this guy's body. He's not vain. He is just a guy. From a really terrific family. His mother's a school teacher, his father's a social worker, and he felt like who I had in mind Hathaway should be, which is a guy from a really bright guy from a working class family on the south side of Chicago, whose father was in a steelworkers union. That's a very specific choice for me, and worked in steel mills. And went to school. I got into school on scholarship and loans, and but being that person, Hathaway would have candor. He'd be direct, be self-confident, wouldn't be anything shy about him. And I was sitting with Chris in Costa Rica, and I felt, this is rough him up a little bit, and this is that guy. The steelworkers in the 70s led a very progressive reform of the Steelworkers Union based in the Chicago local by a guy Ed Sadlowski, who I knew. And so it's a very specific choice. And I have a photo of us in a blast furnace at U.S. Steel in Gary, Indiana, and there's Chris with all the other guys that we were with, going to work at 4:30 in the morning, and he absolutely is one of these guys. They're all the same height. So that's why Chris.